right, guys, welcome back to the Walleye Files. With us today, Drew Schutz, Pierre, South Dakota. How you doing, Drew?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing well. Got some
Fantastic.
snow on the ground over here finally.
Awesome. We're pretty bare over here. We could use some, believe it or not.
Yeah. It always makes it tough when you got no snow on the ice. You know, everything's sliding around. You can't bury your shack in. It just makes everything a lot more difficult.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then not only that, the fishing changes. At least for us over here, they get more sensitive to walking around, driving around, you name it.
Absolutely. So Drew, we'll get right into it. Why don't you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name's Drew Schutz. I'm from the Pierre, South Dakota area, central South Dakota. I live right on the Oahe Sharp Dam. So one day, same day, you can be up on Lake Oahe in 10, 15 minutes, and you can be fishing down on the Lake Sharp Reservoir. They're the whole, or two of the main bodies of the Missouri River Reservoir system in South Dakota. So yeah, I have a full-time job in the egg industry, and then I do a little guiding part-time for a couple outfitters around here when they need a couple guys.
Awesome. So currently, what are our ice conditions like? What are our fishing conditions looking like in Pierre?
So the ice conditions they're varying day to day, and even within the day, it can change drastically. Up on Oahe, they've been releasing a bunch of water up north. So when you look at like the northern South Dakota area, there's a lot of pressure ridges, cracks, shorelines that they're opening up. There's been some tragedies happen this year. Down on Lake Sharp, we had a little bit more consistent ice. Last weekend I ran into some spots where it was like 8-9 inches, and I slid out to coast of the channel, and all of a sudden I found a few spots where the water must have been pushing up, and all of a sudden it was like 5-6 inches next to my Ranger. So I got out of there in a hurry, but the ice conditions are varying. We had some really cold temps, like 50-degree weather, and now we're down into the negative 10, 20, 30s, and we've had some real cold temps here over the last week and looking into this week. So hopefully that safens some things up a little bit, and we can get a few more good weeks of ice here in the Pierre area. It seems like once you get to that March time frame, you start to heat up and the conditions go pretty fast. And then guys are really out boat fishing in some of the areas that we typically are ice fishing right now within a few weeks to a month.
Okay, so what's the bite been like, between Oahe and Sharp?
So Oahe, I fished the Mulbridge tournament up north of here an hour and 45 minutes ago, about a month ago, and there was fish to be caught, but it seemed like you kind of had to get to the tributaries, which are basically rivers that run into the main reservoir there, or bays, or along the channel, sharp breaks. The bite was really tough. I think it's been hit or miss. It's picked up for some guys depending on where you're at. Down on Lake Sharp, that's also been pretty hit or miss too. But last weekend and the weekend before, it seemed to put out some decent fish. And to me, it seemed like you had to find some areas where there's a lot of tree belts underwater or tree flats. And it seemed like once you got into there or around there, and then connecting up to kind of the main channels, you could find a decent bite, especially if you're willing to get out there early in the morning or stay for a night bite. Typically, we can get on a decent day bite down there, but it hasn't happened this year. So yeah, it's been kind of hit or miss. I guess that's fishing. And I think that kind of correlates to, our lack of snow talk that we had a little bit ago. It seems like when there's no snow on the ice, they're skittish, they push around, and you got to be kind of quiet and just ambush them, I guess.
Yeah. So Drew, with, looking at the next couple weeks weather here, where do you anticipate the bite going from here? Is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse? Give me a little bit of insight there.
So typically this time of year, we're at February 12th right now. And it looks like after next week, the temps are going to start trending up. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to do a decent amount of boat fishing in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And up on Oahe, it'll be a different animal. Right above the dam, it's open for a little ways, but then further up, you probably have 12, 15 inches of ice. But typically, the bite starts to pick up come March timing, and those fish seem like they're kind of putting on that pre-spawn feed bag a little bit, and you can have a heck of a good time pitching jigs or throwing three-ways, Dubuque rigs, casting crankbaits or jerk baits, anything like that.
And if there's an angler that or a group that wants to come over there and hop out into the boat for the first time of the year, do you have any tips for them other than, the 10 different baits that we just discussed? Do you have any tips for them to get on some fish?
My best tip as far as tackle wise, I've kind of become pretty accustomed. This was prior to fishing with Tom on the NWT last year, but for some reason I kind of locked into a gray or a black jig head and a minnow. You can go find a bunch of different plastics and work those too, but you find a natural colored jig head, a minnow, find some sand flats and start casting. You'll find something.
Awesome. Hey, one last thing there, Drew. Is there, where can people find if they want to book a trip with you or the outfit you've been working for? Where can they go, social media wise, website wise, to book trips?
Yeah, so you can look up my name on Facebook or Instagram under Drew Schutz, SCHUTZ, and then my own part-time business is called Dakota Outdoors. So if you want, you can reach out to me. There's a couple guys that do lodging, outfitting, all that stuff that I work with very closely. So hit me up and we can talk fishing and get you on a bite around here.
Awesome.
Thanks for being on, brother.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Drew.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good evening.
Talk to you later.
Bye.